might have coughed up a 2-0 lead.
Yep.
And Andreas Johnson got 9 stitches in his face.
He did.
And Freddie Anderson left the game with an injury. Just get to the part where they win.
Hi!
Leafs Nation stand witness for Austin Lucas. Full biblical. Austin Matthews is the Leaf.
Why do I watch hockey stressfully? Mostly.
Victory, puppies, good boys. Hey, I'll give a treat to whoever can tell me what defense is. Good enough, the Leafs can't either. And you get another treat each because we know who the real stars are. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Let's adjust the chair because it's bugging me.
Leafs tie 5-5 against the Dallas Stars, and then in the shootout, Leafs win 6-5. Hey, you know what? The standings say that shootout wins are almost like the real one. JVR was a JV star in this one. James Van Thriemsdijk again, but a pretty good little indicator that you might have had a bad defensive performance when the guy who scored a hat trick doesn't have the game-winning goal. That game was both the best of times and the blurst of times, and I was there, so let's talk about it. Mrs. Dangle got me tickets for my birthday. Oh, I'm the luckiest boy. And it was my first game with these bad boys. Just picked them up. It's my first time with glasses with a full frame. I feel like Kyle Dubas without the resume and being smart. And everything's looking good. The jersey's looking good. Looking around the stands, everyone's looking good. My glasses maybe hear Martina Ortiz Luis hit those anthem notes even better. Science, it works. And less than 5 minutes in, Kari Lehtinen does Kari Lehtinen things. You know, it says on his page that he's finished, but I could have swore Kari Lehtinen was an authentic Italian pizza chef. Just serving up a pie to Kadri like Kadri with a little boop. Kadri scores, Leafs up 1-0, and all the other Dallas Stars at the pizzeria go, oh, que quista! Lehtinen's loss is Kadri's game. My family is ashamed of me, and the Leafs are up 1-0. And then what is it, 25 seconds later? I can't math. Bozak in front with a wide open shot! And sometimes we just forget what a Gronk JVR is, because it doesn't even matter that Bozak is his teammate and has been for a very long time. JVR just barges in like, but like somehow does it daintily and elegantly. His 27th after Kadri's 27th makes it 2-0 Leafs less than 5 minutes in. And it's like 10 minutes in, and I'm like, man, the Stars have barely got a shot on goal. Freddie makes a big Oh, and then Polak takes a penalty. Roman. Oh, they give Radulov one too? Alright, let's see the replay. Okay, it's some 4-on-4 hockey. Again, Roman with the amazing trade. Last time Polak took a penalty, he took Malkin with him. This time he takes Radulov with him. Pulls him over, Freddie potentially injuring him, but we'll get to that later. 5.5 minutes to go, Jamie Benn scores. I don't even worry about it. Leafs just scored 2 quick ones. I'm sure if they get one, it's not gonna matter. Faxa scores! Scores. Faxa is his name. And in one fell swoop, I'm reminded that I'm watching a Leafs Stars game. 2 teams that have a conspiracy theory that defense is a rumor perpetuated by the government. And I'm just watching this game go by like Homer and the Pig, like it's still good, it's still good. Johnson's face smashed into the glass. He heads to the room. No, he's still good, he's still good. Second period, second goes 5-0, Freddie Stars take the lead, it's still good. And imagine my surprise when randomly I look up at the Jumbotron and it announces that Curtis McElhaney is in net. Freddie's still good, he's still good. First shot he faces, Remiel blasts in a one-timer. Oh, come on, I don't even know who that is. Second round pick from Cornwall, Ontario. Cornwall's real? Johnson returns, Freddie does not, and the Leafs are down by 2 goals heading into the third. I just don't understand how this happens in hockey. Leafs are out shooting the Stars something like 10-3 in the first. It ends up 11-9 for the Leafs. Alright, it evened out. Stars outshoot the Leafs 16-4 in the second. They quadruple the math. Who told you that's how you win a hockey game? And we're sitting there, the place is a morgue. No one in the stands is saying anything. It's so quiet. Everything is muffled because I'm sitting in the second last row. If you've ever sat back there, you know you can't even hear the whistles. Mrs. Dangle's sitting next to me like, why did I buy these stupid tickets? Because I'm stupid enough to be a Leaf fan. It's not your fault. But then, in the second intermission, something happened that, rightly or wrongly, got me right back into the game. Oh my god, that's my name! Happy birthday to me! And I was not quiet about it. I was like, people around me high-fiving me. Hey, happy birthday, stranger person. Thank you, I'm way too old to be this excited. It's wonderful. And then I'm like, into it. 2-goal deficit, that's nothing. Step on their heart and crush their dreams. About 5 minutes in, JVR rushes it into the corner and then back to the point to Dermott. Dermott throws it on tip by Bozak. Stop. And you want to talk about the poor defense that the Leafs had in this one, and they did, but JVR is standing in front of the Stars net like he's half-heartedly completing a drill in practice. Oh, I missed it. Oh! Flubbed it again. Okay, there we go. He had like 3 whacks at the thing, his second of the game, and the Leafs are now down by 1 with plenty of time left to go. A few minutes later, Stephen Johns takes a hooking penalty. That's what you get for spelling Stephen with a PH, sir. Marner does the thing. JVR completes the thing. How don't you know that thing is coming? Tie game! And hey, give me the hat trick! Let me tell you about Mrs. Frickin' Dangle, okay? We saw the Leafs lose 6-3 to the Devils, alright? That was a fart. But our last 3 games, the Centennial game against the Hurricanes, Leafs score 8 goals and win. 8 goals, I should frickin' hope so. Then we see the Leafs beat the Blue Jackets 6-3, Nazem Kadri with a hat trick. And then in this one, JVR hat trick. And the Leafs, well, they've tied it. And then I heard a bunch of people around me do something that has happened at almost every game I've been to this year, and stop doing it. When it's a tie game in the third, they go, well, 3-on-3 overtime's fun. You know what else is fun is shutting the hell into where they say that it gets screwed up. Connor Carrick throws a grenade. The Stars have it and they're passing it around and you just see Carrick like, oh no! Oh, for the love of God, no! Curtis, bail me out! Ah! Horrible giveaway by Carrick. I think the whole situation maybe gets solved with a little bit of communication in the Leafs' own zone, but you can't do that in the third in a tie game, man. I don't know if Hyman called for that pass. It didn't look like it, but you can't really tell from the angle, I guess. The second Zaitsev's back, I think we know who's sitting. Sorry, C's. And now the Leafs, who have been kicking the Dallas Stars up and down the ice since the puck was dropped in the third period, are losing again. And the Leafs keep having their chances. William Nylander, oh my God, he looks so good in this one. Babcock just lines in a blender. Final 30 seconds of the game, nothing. 20 seconds to go, come on. Marner puts it on. Marlowe with the tip. The Leafs tie the game. Defense is for losers. Now you can say, let's see some overtime. Stars have a breakaway. Marner takes a hooking penalty. Oh, I hate overtime now. Question of the game, how's that not a penalty shot? Like, Stars fans, if I were you, I might have something to say about that. You seem clear to me. 4-on-3, which looks so much harder than 5-on-4 penalty kill for the Leafs. And I gotta say, Roman Polak, hell of a game, which is even more bad news for Carrick. McElhinney holding the fort, stopping 7 of 7 shots in the extra frame. Hey, I've never been so happy for a shootout. Bozak, money. JVR stop, but McElhinney does not allow a goal and either Dallas Star shot. Now it is time for Mitch Marner. Now during the game, Mrs. Dangle was like, Marner, is he good in the shootout? And I'm like, yeah, I think so. I watched the highlights and apparently heading into the game, he was 1 for 7. I'm like, oh, well, make it 2 for 8. He scores in this one. Leafs somehow win that game. That stupid game. Look at this. The Maple Leafs relinquished a 2-goal lead and overcame a 2-goal deficit to win for just the 4th time in franchise history. The last time was April 7th, 2007 against Montreal. First of all, who even tracks that stat? But also, the Leafs had a 2-goal lead, lost that 2-goal lead, got a 2-goal deficit, erased that 2-goal deficit, and then still allowed another goal and had to come back from that. So that stat that involves something happening for just the 4th time in franchise history over 100 years didn't even encapsulate what won the game. This goofy freaking team. How about this? I kept noticing this. Andreas Janssen, first NHL game, wears number 18. For Leafs troops, where they honor someone in the Canadian military, they brought out Leafs alumni Jim McKenney, number 18. There were a bunch of Olympians in the stands, figure skaters, some members of the women's hockey team, and they handed them all custom Leafs jerseys with the number 18. Marlowe ties the game with 15.3 seconds left in the game. 15 plus 3, 18. And Mitch Marner, now I'm really shoehorning, but I don't even care. Number 16 scores the Leafs' second goal of the shootout to win. 16 plus 2, 18 math. And how many minutes did Mitch Marner play in this one? You guessed it, 21. I tried. McElhinney picking up a win in relief. Questions. First one. Freddie! A lot of you were freaking out, and this just got announced. The Maple Leafs announced today that the club has recalled goaltender Garrett Sparks from the Toronto Marlies on an emergency basis. Don't freak out about that. The Leafs play the night after he gets hurt. Of course they called someone up. And for those of you that are like, Garrett Sparks, of course they called up Garrett Sparks. Yesterday, Garrett Sparks got another shutout. This from Todd Crocker. Garrett Sparks equaled the shutout mark of last season, which is the single season Marlies record at 5. He stopped 31 shots and now owns a 1.78 goals against average and a 9.36 save percentage. Is that even allowed? He's now 24-8-2. The AHL is boring for him. Now the only thing is McElhinney played yesterday, but so did Sparks. In fact, Sparks played more. Now Freddie tried to play through this injury and pulled himself out of the game. That's just smart. Look, I want to catch Tampa and Boston too, but the Leafs are 11 points behind Tampa and 7 behind Boston. What's the illusion here? Heal up and get healthy, Freddie. We need you. They said it's upper body for Freddie. I have a hard time believing he's going to be out until the playoffs or into the playoffs. McElhinney's been good, and Sparks is arguably the best goaltender in the American Hockey League right now. Chill. How about focusing on the good news? And I'm not going to have all the news at the time that I'm shooting this video, but it sounds like Matthews is taking the bus to Buffalo today. I doubt he'll play, but he's obviously close. How was the ACC crowd atmosphere / buzz last night for a Wednesday night Dallas game? Yeah, I sort of talked about this. Weeknight games against teams that don't really mean a whole lot to the Leafs, it's hard to get the crowd amped. First period they were okay, and by the end of it they were bummed. Second period it was a mausoleum. Third period was rocking. I don't think Toronto has a quiet building. I think Toronto is just a show-me sports town, and for a very long time the Leafs have not shown. But when they succeed, especially in big moments, people freak out. You want to hear some unbelievable crowd pops? Two stick out to me. Matthews getting the Leafs' first goal in Game 3 last year, and Matthews getting the goal in Game 6 last year. Just huge. The Game 3 one is the whole shift. You gotta listen to it. Victory, kiddies! I'll allow it. It's not really a question, but okay. Okay, hypothetically, if the Leafs were to trade Nylander to the Canes, what would be a reasonable return? Let me think. think them throwing hands with me? You don't trade Willie, you monsters. Serious question. Has anyone ever thought about putting Jake Gardiner on the wing? It's funny, there were actually two older gentlemen sitting next to me and they kept going, oh, good Jake, bad Jake. Yeah, he drives me nuts defensively and this game was no different. But here's a little stat for you. Jake and actually Morgan Riley are tied for 10th among defensemen in primary assists with 20. The guy adds value, man. It's funny, they did talk about adding Gardiner to the wing years ago. I think we're well past that, man. Honestly, as good as Polak was in that game, that pairing has never worked, and I don't understand why Babcock keeps going back to it. But they won. So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. There's some merch in a link down below. And hey, a brand new Panago Pizza Steve Dangle podcast is getting recorded today. We're back. Laundry's done. I don't know if you heard that. Did you? It was a buzz.